Hi everyone, welcome to Get Life Tarot. My name is Jackie. This is going to be a general energy pull for February 19th, Tuesday, February 19th for the collective. These are general messages, general energies. Take what resonates, please throw out the rest. So not gender specific. And remember that energy and time are fluid. So let's see what we have. We're going to do a past, present, and future pull. Let's see that these can be seen. Okay, that's your very recent past. This is where you are now. And this is your future. Okay, so the Six of Wands just indicates that here at the top of the reading, at the heading of the reading, that you were in a bad place, right? Where there was conflict and you realized it needed to end. Right, this follows Five of Swords, which is conflict, right? So you went through the conflict and you're not exactly out of it, but you've left. And this is a card of encouragement that you've made the right decision. Okay, Spirit wants you to know you've made the right decision. You're on the right path. You needed it to end because it became too challenging for you. We have the Ten of Swords here, the Ten of Wands rather. It became too difficult to continue for you in that life. The burden was just very heavy. If this is a relationship, the relationship was just way too challenging to stay in. And you just weren't happy anymore. You just weren't feeling the same. You were having new feelings with that Ace of Cups. New feelings came upon you. You knew that you were not in the right space. And I'm going to do a quick read in relation to a relationship, and then I'll do a follow-up with career. So you knew that there had to be change. Okay, your feelings changed. You were no longer feeling the same. You were not feeling satisfied. And you just started feeling and seeing and dreaming of a life more fulfilling, especially emotionally, right? Because we have those cups. Remember that bringing us down to the present now with the Seven of Wands. You're thinking about all the lessons that you've learned. Perhaps you were in a karmic relationship. I get a very strong feeling of there being some sort of karmic tie. And that contract is done. You have a new understanding thanks to these lessons learned now about how to approach life from a smarter perspective. But because of what you've been through, and we have this Page of Swords, because of what you've been through, you're feeling really insecure and worried about not being able to cope with the change that's necessary to make this change happen. You're feeling really insecure right now, but you are getting to a place, I feel, where you have that sort of light right in front of you. You want wisdom gained. You want to get in touch with wisdom maybe that you attained in another lifetime. There are many different ways of understanding this, but I feel on a very practical level, you're thinking about finding maybe a really good therapist or confiding in a very good friend, but whoever it is, whoever you end up choosing to talk things through with, make sure they're very objective and not subjective. They're not going to be pushing their own agenda and their own feelings about what they think you should do on you. Because moving then into the future with the Nine of Pentacles, you have to figure out your own moves. It's got to be up to you. You need to be alone right now, and I get the feeling that you're going to be interrupted in your ability to do this. Now, this could be a couple of things. This could be that, let's say you are in a marriage and you know it needs to be over, and you've learned the lessons, and you see yourself in a new life, and you know exactly what you need to do. But you have kids. And you have a job and all of these things that are getting in the way, for lack of a better term, of you being able to spend quality time by yourself, to be able to actually put your ducks in a row. These are pentacles, right? So this is very practical aspects of life that are going to need to be taken care of as a result of this change. It could also be somebody, also speaking again to that Page of Swords energy, somebody really well-intended who just kind of wants to push their agenda on you, and you have to say no thank you. You really need to summon up the courage here to say no thank you, and you will, because you have the wisdom of the moon, and you have this path, and you have this beautiful spiritual dove. Your intuition is really turned on right now, so you know exactly what you need to do. This isn't the type of isolated thinking like the hermit. It's not that at all. This is, in a very practical way, you need to sit down and figure out for yourself what you need, what your situation needs to move forward. And you need to do that with at least a little bit of isolation, right? Because I'm just feeling like this Ten of Cups, well, this Ten of Pentacles, this Ten of Pentacles in the vice versa deck speaks to you feeling very trapped in a life that you actually set up for yourself through your own free will. Okay, so you have to think through all of this. You're thinking through the shackles that you put on yourself. You really need to identify what those are, where you're being held back right now. You completely understand that ultimately you got yourself here. Ultimately, it was your free choice. Maybe, listen, when we're younger, things come to us in different ways, right? So I feel like this came to you at a time that you needed it in your life, but it's just not serving its purpose. Let's get a little more information on that. Okay, so now we have the Eight of Cups. So there's no shame in walking away when a situation proves to be too painful. Only you know the right path for you to move forward. You can't let it, don't get wrapped up in other people's judgments of you, which I know is really hard when you're feeling trepidatious about your choice, although you're not really. I feel like you're very strong in your conviction that this is the right thing, but it doesn't mean you're not feeling vulnerable and scared right now. It would be a little strange if you weren't feeling vulnerable and scared, but this eight is letting you know, it's confirming you're doing the right thing, right? You're leaving. And even though it's going to be a painful path, the hard part's over. You made the decision already. Your decision, your mind is made up. It's made up. And I feel like the Hierophant, how the Hierophant plays in is, these are, typically Hierophant is religion, right? But it could really be society's understanding of what's normal. It could be how you listen to somebody who you consider an authority in your life, or maybe an elder who you really respect. And you're considering all the things that you've learned growing up throughout your encounters with these people, maybe through the church, through your family, through your elders, through society, through all the different avenues in your life, all the things that you ended up believing you were supposed to be and you were supposed to do. And you're realizing now that you never actually gave yourself a solid opportunity to think through what you want and the way you think your life should go. You convinced yourself at some point that what you learned to be normal and true and traditional was what you wanted. But you're realizing now that it's not fitting for you. It's not speaking to your heart at all. You don't feel like you fit in your own life anymore. And this has been the deepest recesses of you, this realization is hitting you, which is absolutely incredible, guys. I am so happy for whoever resonates with this, because there are people who sleep through their entire life and they don't really look at any sense of their discontent as changeable. Because while this could be, I just, indicated if you were in a marriage or a long-standing relationship, but let's say you want to stay in the relationship. The time period that you were just in that relationship is done. It has to be done, and your partner has to be willing to give you space and be willing to allow you to grow. Otherwise, this is never going to work. It's never going to work. If this is your career, you are no longer happy in whatever chosen career you were in. You were in a career for all the wrong reasons. It could have been for money. It could have been for fame, no matter how micro that was in your life, or macro, you know, maybe you're super famous or not. You know, just, you know, maybe your parents pushed you to be an accountant, or they pushed you to stick with a blue collar job or something that was safe, you know, with benefits. But you realize you're just so much more of a free spirit, and you're not feeling like you fit in your life anymore. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to leave your field altogether, but this definitely supports you looking into another avenue of your career, whatever career you're in, that will bring you more satisfaction, and whatever that means to you. But I want you to keep something in mind, that this Ace of Cups is fleeting. So time is of an element here, I'm feeling. Time is of an element. But if it has to do with career, you know, listen, that's an old story, right? So many people end up doing what they're supposed to do. You know, I came very close to doing that, and then I pulled back at the last second. You know, my parents really wanted me to go to law school. They used to call me the mouthpiece, and, you know, they really pushed me in that area. And during that period of my life, that did not resonate with me. It didn't resonate with me at all. The lawyers who I was meeting, they were all miserable, and it didn't resonate with me at all. And I ended up, you know, I was very into fitness, and I had a dance background. So for me, you know, I was an aerobic instructor. I, you know, became a personal trainer, and then I became a licensed massage therapist, and then I opened a gym, and I was an entrepreneur for 10 years. And then I realized, you know, my love and passion for reading and writing pushed me to go back to school and get 2 master's degrees and become an English professor, and then go on for my doctorate. So, but my path was so unconventional. I did it, you know, my second master's when I had my kids and my mother was dying. You know, it was just very untraditional, because I knew if I took that path, I was going to die in it. Sometimes I think, oh, you know what, maybe I should have done that every now and then. Every now and then. But it's very fleeting, and I'm always ultimately so much happier with my choice. So much happier with my choice. But anyway, let's pull a couple of oracles just to wrap up this. Get some final words of wisdom of the oracle. Okay, to the sea, and we have why. So to the sea is perfect. I seem to be pulling this up for a lot of the readings lately. So to the sea is this beautiful fairy in this little boat knows exactly where she's going and knows where she's been. But right now she's just sitting and waiting to think things through. And this speaks so beautifully to exactly what I'm saying with this 9 of Pentacles. You have to allow yourself a time for introspection. You have to, and if you notice, the boat is on top of the emotions. In the emotions, feeling the feelings, right? But above it, above the emotions, not deeply entrenched. So thinking logically and practically about what has to be done. Okay, and then we have why, right? Seeking, you guys can see that, seeking that ultimate question of why. And this is perfectly suited, because this is, you know exactly why now. You have lessons learned here with the 7 of Wands. You're asking yourself, why? Why did I end up in this? Why am I feeling this way? Well, the reason is because you never gave yourself the opportunity at an earlier point in time, and that's okay. Because everything that you've done up to this point, guys, everything had a purpose. Lessons were learned. And you're opening yourself up to that. And I do get the feeling that ultimately you're going to completely accept your choices, past and present, and really embrace this Ace of Cups moving into the future. So all around, while I know this is very uncomfortable while you're going through it, this is a very positive read. It's a very positive read. And this is going to be speaking to you most strongly today on Tuesday, the 19th of February. But obviously energy is fluid, time is fluid, so this, I'm sure you've been in this, but something very pivotal is going to be happening today regarding this story. So that's what I have for you today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.